Hello everyone. It's Saturday about 11:20 Chicago time, and I thought I'll make a video about um, how I'm scanning for trades and kind of what's the psychology behind them and how I look at them. I don't usually talk about that. I try to stay within the technical analysis and look at the Elliott waves and analyze the market. I'll just make a quick one about trading. If you guys have any comments, suggestions, stuff like that, just leave them below. I'll be happy to take a look, and I'll be happy to engage in a discussion with anybody about trades. What goes through your mind? What bothers you when you trade? What's the hardest thing? Um, and so on, right? We're all trying to become better traders. So, without digressing too much, here is what I wanted to say, right? So, let's say that we open a chart of Bitcoin. You've been gone in a vacation for a long time or whatever. Maybe a couple of days, you've come off your weekend and you're ready to go. You have some money to spend or to risk, and you want to pull up a trade and see what happens. Right now, you know a little bit about Elliott Wave, you know a little bit about trading, and you're trying to scan the market. And I think this is where everything kind of starts, right? And as you all know, it's much easier to get into a trade than to get out. But first of all, to be able to get out, you have to get in first. So, and that is the most important thing when you trade is you want to be able to get a good entry. And it's just like when you buy a piece of real estate or when you want to buy a product either online or you want to negotiate something, a contract, you want to get as good of a deal as possible. And most of us, we are eager to get into something without or maybe we might be really good at getting good deals outside of trading, and then when we get into trades, we're not getting such good deals because the markets have a way of twisting our brains into thinking that they're going and they're not, and then they might retrace a little more, and then you end up being not in the best position possible. But your goal as a trader should be to get into the best spot you can, and if not, try to create it in such a way that you either get in a little smaller in the beginning and then you add your position, or just purely wait for the best entrance. So let's look at the chart of Bitcoin, and I'm dissecting these charts probably every other day, and I put updates and all that stuff out. But for example, if you're here and you open a daily chart of Bitcoin, Bitcoin US dollar, and you look at it, you put some wave counts up, and then you're like, okay, now what? Do I have a trade here? And you look at the daily and you see, okay, well, we've been going up. This is a 1, 2, 3, and then we're coming back into a fourth wave. We think, right? It's a 4. And you're like, okay, let me scan a little bit on the 6-hour. You go, you open up the 6-hour chart. You obviously, you want to get a little bit help from other indicators. So you pull at some trend channels, you put some trend lines, and you say, okay, the market, just by looking at this right here, it goes from the lower left to the higher right, right? So basically you're making higher highs and higher lows. So this tells you have an uptrend, no matter how you want to dissect it and how you want to look at it. On this chart right now at this moment, the prices are moving higher, okay? Now, if you go to a 3-hour chart, still up, right? We're starting at about 38.50 and we're up at about 55.50, right? So still going up. The arrow is clearly up. Go back to a 1-hour chart. Things are changing, right? They're changing a little bit. Now, you've been going up, but you've been coming down, okay? Now, if you go to a 45-minute chart, you've been going up, you've been coming down. So what is this, right? It's kind of messy, right? You don't really find a lot of sense into what's happening here, right? You don't know. I mean, this is up and down, right? It's pretty much flat. If you take a line from right up here, to the left of the chart, to the right of the chart, you're pretty much the same price. It's 52.50. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why I don't like to trade on a smaller time frames. Okay, you can look for entries, but trading these time frames, you're gonna lose a lot of money. Okay, so if you're a beginner trader, go back to a 3-hour chart, even better, a half-a-day chart, 6-hour chart, and look what the market does. Okay, and here is the number one job you have. and we all have as traders, right? It is to first identify a trend if you have one. Okay, now if you open another chart and you see this and this and this and this and this, right? Are you going to trade it? You're probably not going to trade it. You're going to be like, what the hell is going on here? I got no, you know, I have no trend. There is nothing here. It looks like it's a range, so I might be buying at the bottom here and try to sell at the top. If you're a range trader, that's fine, right? So, but we all like to see kind of trends going up, right? So what you want to do here? You wanted to uh, buy pullbacks into this trend. Now, what Elliott Wave does here for you, it's basically giving you indications of, and when you combine that with trend channeling, you can see what are the best spots to buy. And you want to get that good price that you're looking for, okay? So would I buy Bitcoin here? Not really. Not really. I wouldn't buy it. I would not even touch it, right? Because why? Because yeah, you have an ABC pullback here. And as I've said in my updates, yeah, I think it's going to go up, but we don't know if it's going to go up now, right? Or if it's going to come down a little lower and then go up. So I don't like my chances here. I basically don't. I have no chances here. I have no edge. I really have no edge. I could buy, but then the market can stop me out, right? The edge that I have, and what I think my edge will be even better, it will be towards the bottom of this trend line. Now, do I have the patience to wait for this to happen? Maybe not, but then maybe I shouldn't be trading, right? Or maybe I'm okay with losing money, right? So what if the market turns around and goes higher? Well, then guess what? You missed it. Doesn't mean you're a stupid trader. Doesn't mean that you don't know what you're doing. Doesn't mean, that you're going and people are, I told you to buy, I told you to buy. No, that's not how that works. Because the market could have gone lower. Just because you went up, it doesn't mean anything. Okay? Because you don't know what he's going to do. All you do know is where you have your best chances. So now what happens? If the market gets here to these levels, okay, now are you going to automatically buy? You could. You could. And then, it's up to you if you're going to put your stops below this trend line or below the top of wave one, because if the market gets all the way down here, you're extremely wrong. Okay? And you have this distance between here and here, okay, for the market to prove you right and go back up higher. All right, if this is indeed a wave four. Now, what I don't like about wave fours is that, and obviously you can trade them and look for the next wave up going into a fifth wave, but what I don't like about them is the fact that they can morph into a lot of different things. You can be in a wave four like this, you can go up, you can come here, you can do this, you can do this, and then go up, okay? So you're going to lose a lot of capital and money that you can invest maybe into a different market just by being stuck into a wave four, okay? So for me, even right now, you want to trade the fifth wave, you could, but maybe it's not the best thing to do. Maybe there is nothing in Bitcoin right now to do, okay? If it goes up into a fifth wave, well, guess what's happening? There is another pullback coming down, and I would rather buy that one than just squeeze something out of this fifth wave, which might not come for a while, or even if it comes, it might be short-lived, okay? Because we know that just above, at about 6,000 level, and if I go to a daily chart, just above, there's a lot of resistance, okay? If you take this lines from here, and you basically, just pull a straight line out, you see that this area here, right? It's going to be tough for the market to punch through that. It might, like hot knife through butter, right? It might, but the chances of it happening, I think they're pretty low. So trading Bitcoin right now, it's tough. It's going to get tougher until either we clear through here, pull back, and then we buy and we look at something else. But this is how you kind of look and try to stay away from price action. That doesn't make sense. Okay, now let's look at another market, which I think is more interesting. Let's look at Litecoin. All right, Litecoin, I like it a little bit more, and this is why. Because, and you can look at this wave counts and make sense of them, okay? But what I do like about it is I like that this pullback, it looks way more interesting than the pullback in Bitcoin. Okay, this here, it's very confusing. This here, this I like. It's much more clearer. Why? Because if I go to a 6-hour chart and I look at it, I see a nice pullback, almost like they call it like a bull, like a wave. What you call that? A bull flag, right? When you kind of come back and you have this nice run up, and now you're pulling back in it. Okay, so this is a nice retracement. Price, you know, goes up, comes down, overlaps again. There's no trend, right? But in the meantime, you are pulling back. Okay, at some point, this thing will be over. Now you're approaching a nice middle of channel trend line. So Litecoin has my interest. Litecoin has my interest because it's coming into a very nice position here. And if this is a wave 4, or if this is a wave 1, and this is a wave 2, it doesn't matter. If you think this is a wave 2, okay, then you shouldn't have any business coming below this line over here. Okay, if you think it's a wave 4, then you should not have any business coming below this here. Okay, because wave 4 cannot penetrate the area of wave 1. Okay, if it's a wave 2, okay, if it's a wave 2 and this is a wave 1, you shouldn't come underneath the start of a wave 1 here. Okay, which is right here. Okay, or right here. All right, so pick your levels and just put your stops below. You know, trading is not a precise art. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not a precise science, right? Right. It's like more like an art form. You gotta be a little flexible, and you just gotta take it and put your pants on and get after it. Okay. So I like Litecoin into these levels. I think something interesting is happening in Litecoin. I think, the fact that we are in this retracement channel gives me a little bit more confidence into looking at this. Now, am I ready to open a trade in it? No. Why? Because there is no signs that we are going up yet. Okay. It's just sitting here. It hasn't moved yet. So why would I open a trade? What if it does this? Okay. What if it does this? What if it does this or this? Okay. And it comes here. All right. So first, what I do, I want to wait for the market to confirm me that this trend is over. Okay. And I want to see this. Okay. Now, the moment it breaks this up, I got something to work with. And even better, if I go to a 6-hour chart or a 3-hour chart and I see, even to a 1-hour chart, right? And I see that I start having a 5-wave move up. This is not a 5-wave move up. Look at this. Look at this here, right? It tried to break it up, but it's not a 5-wave move up. It's overlapping, right? It's clearly a corrective structure. We're pushing back down. This is not a 5-wave move up, right? It's not. It's clearly corrective. Nothing here. It's a 5-wave move up. Okay, so we might go lower and maybe attack this trend line. And then if you see something like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you know that we're about to move. And if you can identify clearly 5 waves moving up, not 3, so it's not like we're stopping here and then pulling back down, then you buy the pullback because you're going to get some. It might be little, it might be at 23%, it might be at 38%. And then you get in, and then now you enjoy a nice ride. Okay, so it's all a matter of being patient, looking at the market, try to identify these wave structures, how they are, how they look, what's corrective, what's impulsive. Okay, this is where Elliott Wave is the most powerful because it can keep you out of trouble. If this is a wave 3 or this is a wave 1, who cares, right? You can't be that precise. You will never be. You will lose a lot of money doing that. And you will drive yourself crazy. Okay, you can help yourself by saying which move is what, but this is impulsive. I can see, right? It is an impulse. It's a move higher. It's strong, and this is a corrective because it chops around. All right. So let's look at another one. Let's look at Ethereum. Okay, I like Ethereum. I like Ethereum too. Why? Because it's pulling back to the trend line. This is the daily chart. You can look at the wave counts. What I'm not too happy about, I don't know, if this is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, you know what this means? After 3 1, 2s, that means that you have to rocket to the moon, okay? And chances of that happening are small. If it does happen, you're a genius. But way too many times when you see a triple 1, 2, they blow up in your face and you go lower, okay? So, but I do like the chances here. Why? Because you have a nice trend line coming here, okay, which is from the bottom, all right? You have a nice five-way move up here, which is an impulse move, and now you have an A, B, C pullback, okay? So if you're a more aggressive trader and you don't want to wait for the market to prove you anything, you can buy right here. Now you have this critical level of 131.77, right? If we drop below this, then this is the origin of wave one. You cannot be below this per the rules of Elliott Wave. You cannot be below this critical level right here, because then wave two will be below the start of wave one. So you're wrong. So you know how much you risk. You're at 151 right now, right? And then you have 131. So you risk about $20 on this, okay? Possibly to make much more than that. Okay, so Ethereum is approaching very interesting levels. If you don't want to take this trade yet, right? You go back and you look at the 3-hour chart, and you see it's starting to move a little bit, right? It might pull a little lower. Maybe this move is not fully finished yet. Okay, maybe it's an A, B, C here, or maybe it's a 1, 2, one, 2, 3, 4, and then we still need another 5. Okay, now if you watch what's happening here, if we're stalling to get some nice impulse move, very small 5-wave move up here, you can get involved. Now you're interested. Now things are gonna, start happening your way, and you know where your risk is. All right, that's Ethereum. Okay, I'm done with the crypto. So I just want to go and look, because that's not the only thing that I trade. I want to look a little bit at Forex really quickly, and I want to show you 2 trades that I took. Actually, I took 3, but I would talk about Euro and Aussie. So very simple here, and some of the guys that I kind of talk to, they know my trade. So I've been waiting to short Euro for a long time, okay? And why I've been waiting to do that? Because and if I go on a daily chart, you can see that we are in a down trending channel in euro dollar. And I'm going to clean this up a little bit, because this is a little bit way too much, right? So I see what's happening here. I think we have a wave A, B, and then we have a 1, 2, and then I think euro continues to move down. And there is fundamental stuff that's happening, right? Things, Fed is going to come out and say this, and people are going to get bearish on the dollar and bullish on the dollar. And I don't want to get into this discussion now. But basically, this right here is where the Fed said no more hikes, and this is supposedly bearish dollar, right? Because if they don't hike anymore, or if they even lower the interest rates, that's bearish for the dollar. Well, guess what happened? The market, the dollar was weaker and the euro went up for a while, but then we went back down. So are you going to trust this? So what methodology are you going to trust? Because there is nothing out there that's just going to create money out of thin air for you. You got to fight for it. So I said, I want to short the euro. I think we're in a downtrend, and I think we're going lower. So that's my preview based on what I see here, and the larger wave counts. So I go back from a day to a 6-hour chart, right? The euro drops, has a nice impulse move to the downside, and now I'm seeing this retracement up, right? And you can see clearly how this is overlapping, right? And it's a big match. There's nothing impulsive here. This over here doesn't look anything like this move. Okay, so how much is it going to retrace? You don't know if it's going to stop here. In hindsight, it's easier. Yeah, but if it's going to stop here, if this is a fake out, then we're going down. But look what happened, right? This was a nice fake out. The market came down, starts coming down, and then it pulled up again. And it probably went up with a couple of pips above this, took anybody's stops, and then starting to move down. So what I shorted this was, and I go to let me just escape this. I go to a 3-hour chart. On the break of this trend line here, that gave me nice confidence that we're about to do something, because I saw this dip here. This looks very nice, like a pullback. This was a nice double top here. So the break of this trend line, I'm like, I'm getting short. I'm not even waiting for a bigger pullback here, or for a 5-way completion, which you could have, because you see the market pulled back here, but this is what I added to my position. So I got short about here. Market did a 5-way move down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, into a kind of a first wave. Then it pulled back into an A, B, C. Okay, so you can add here and have your stops higher, right? And now you're enjoying the move. So I've taken a very nice position at the break here. I've added on my position here on this pullback, and I wanted to get out here. Okay, that's what I wanted to get out. And now I'm talking about the psychology. All right, I didn't get out there. When I saw this spike up right here, What's going on? What's going on? I think I'm zoomed on something. All right, erase drawings. All right, there you go. I hope I'm back. Okay, so what I did get out, I got out somewhere around here, right? So I saw this spike down, and I'm like, I don't know. I think we're done. I think we're done. And you got to do that sometimes. You can't be so rigid in your wave counting. And if you want to be, that's fine. And if you want to, say I'm not getting out whatsoever until I'm reaching my target, that's fine. But it's up to you, really. I just, couldn't see myself, and I kind of, looked at the indicators too here, and you can pull an RSI, and you can see that you have 1, 2, 3, and you're going to have divergence, and the market is going to have to bounce higher. And you know that you have a pretty strong move. You can count 5 waves down here, and you're going to get. Now, do I want to be part of this wave 4? There might be another pullback down. True. But do I want to wait for another week or 2 for this to develop? Because the meat of the money was already made. It was right there. Okay? And I don't want to wait for this little bit. The wave 5 are very tricky. They may be very short, and then we go back, up higher. All right? So my suggestion is, if you notice something like this, get your money out. That's what I did. And then you can find a different market, which is slow and where you find corrections. And then you wait for that market to finish correcting, and then you get in it. All right? Same thing on the Aussie dollar. All right, just really quickly, I'm going to go through this. The market has been correcting in a very abusive manner, right? There's a lot of traders that went nuts here because you don't know where Aussie is going. I mean, look at this, right? Look at it's unbelievably crazy what a retracement of this magnitude can do to you. And you're going to get chopped around and maybe lose. You can lose half your capital by trying to pick something here. Okay, and the quicker you can identify that you are in this type of a market, the better off you'd be. And you just gotta wait and wait and wait. And now we broke above the trend line, and the market faked everybody out, and then we pulled back. Okay, so again, I took short in Aussie somewhere around here, and I wanted to go down all the way to the bottom of the channel, but I got out when I start seeing kind of same thing like in the euro up here. I'm out of the market, so I don't have any more Aussie positions open. And I had some pound, but I closed that too because I don't want to be part of it. So I guess the number one lesson here is keep an eye on your corrections and on your impulses, and then see what happens. Okay. And the market that I'm in right now, where I moved the funds, is in natural gas. I think natural gas had a nice pullback. I don't have charts for it right now because I don't have that in this platform, and I would have to open something else. But I think natural gas reached a very nice level. I'm interested in it. I've opened a small position. I want to see how the market develops from here. But I think there's a good opportunity there. And then, like I said, there's a couple of opportunities in Ethereum and Litecoin, but the Bitcoin is kind of tricky. So this is it. This is just a pure example of just a trading psychology, how I look at the markets, how I open and close positions, and kind of what I go through when I do that. Okay, hope this helps. I know it was a longer video, about 23 minutes, 25 minutes here shortly. But if you guys have any comments, if you like anything that I've said, or if you have any arguments, leave them below the video. Subscribe. We'll do more like this, and we'll keep looking. Okay, things are interesting. So thanks, and you guys have a great weekend, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye.